In the mountain-clinging village of Oakhaven, the prestige of a family wasn't measured in gold, but in the liturgy of the line. Every decade, the great scribe arrived to record the town's history, and every decade, a single apprentice was chosen to hold the Gilded Quill. Elara was that apprentice. She was meticulous, her handwriting so precise it looked like it had been etched by the wind itself. But Elara had a secret that felt like a stone in her chest. She was terrified of the ink. To her, every drop was a permanent verdict. A single smudge could ruin a family's legacy. A misspelled name could erase a generation's honor. The heavy hand? As the festival approached, Elara's anxiety manifested as a physical weight. Her arm felt like it was made of lead. When she practiced, she gripped the pen so tightly her knuckles turned white, and the nib scratched the parchment instead of gliding over it. "You are fighting the liquid," her grandfather, a retired cartographer, observed. He watched her labor over a simple ledger. "You treat the ink like a cage, Elara. You think if you don't control every atom of it, the world will end." "It's forever, grandfather," she whispered, her voice trembling. "If I fail, the ink remembers." The trial of the well. On the eve of the ceremony, the great scribe took Elara to the deep well, where the ink was harvested from the crushed berries of the midnight vine. He handed her a bucket and told her to carry it to the village square. "Do not spill a drop," he commanded. Elara moved with agonizing slowness. She watched the black surface of the liquid, her heart hammering against her ribs. Every time a ripple formed, she froze, her muscles locking in fear. By the time she reached the square, she was exhausted, her body aching from the tension of not failing. The scribe looked at the full bucket, and then at Elara's exhausted face. He took a heavy ladle, scooped up a generous portion of the ink, and threw it directly onto the white stones of the square. Elara gasped, dropping her bucket in shock. "What have you done?" "That was the sacred ink. The stones are ruined." "The stones are just stones," the scribe said calmly. "The ink only has power because of the hand that guides it. You are so afraid of the weight of the ink that you have forgotten the lightness of the story." He handed her a brush. "Clean it. But don't just scrub. Use the spill. Make it mean something." Elara looked at the chaotic black Rorschach test on the ground. She took a deep breath, letting the animal of her panic settle. She stopped trying to erase the mistake and started to work with it. With a few fluid strokes, the jagged splatter became the wings of a great eagle. A long streak of ink became the trunk of a mountain pine. The ruined stones became a mural of the village's history. Not a rigid record, but a living, breathing landscape. When the great scribe finally opened the official ledger of Oakhaven the next morning, Elara didn't grip the quill like a weapon. She held it like a feather. She realized that the weight she felt wasn't the ink itself, but her own demand for perfection. When she finally dipped the nib, she didn't see a permanent trap. She saw a pathway. The entries she wrote that year were said to be the most beautiful in the village's history. They weren't perfect. There were tiny variations in the loops, a slight thickening of the line here and there, but they possessed a soul. Elara learned the final truth of the Gilded Quill. The ink is only heavy when you try to carry the future before you've even written the first word.